Y'all didn't clap the first time. So that's all right. It's all good. See, the real jazz lovers, they stick around. You know, we might be here to midnight. And guess what? Y'all will be here too, see? All right. Jeremy Pelt has performed with Jimmy Heath, Cedar Walton, Nancy Wilson, and countless other music legends. He has been featured in the Wall Street Journal and was voted Rising Star on the trumpet for 5 straight years by Downbeat magazine. He has released 20 recordings as a band leader. That's a lot of music. His latest is Our Community Will Not Be Erased. Joining him tonight on piano is Alvy Gavon. Give it up for Alvy. Renardo Ward is on drums, Renardo, and on bass, Mr. Rob Linton. And so please welcome the man from New York City with the beautiful horn, Mr. Jeremy Pelt.
How's everybody doing? You know, as I arrived here yesterday and James picked me up and we had a quite nice conversation in the hour-and-a-half drive that it took to get us here. And one of the things that he was actually surprised to discover, and I was just as surprised to tell him, because after a near 30-year career, you would have thought that I've been here, but this is actually my first time to Tennessee. Yeah, so, you know, having a good time, and thank you guys for coming on out. And paying tribute to someone that, well, you know, this is about, you know, I posted just minutes ago that this is about the millionth tribute that I've done this year to Miles Davis, and, you know, and I'm not at all feeling bad about that. You know, when I first started, I'll go ahead and do this, and then we'll just go keep playing after this, is that, you know, I was a classical trumpet major for a long time, and I really thought that I was going to be doing that for the rest of my life until 1991 happened, and that was the year that I started high school, and 10th grade, and that was also the year that Miles Davis died. And one of the classmen came in, upperclassmen, and said, we should play, and this school didn't have an orchestra, so I was subject to the jazz band. And at that point, I knew about jazz, and my mother used to play the singers. She used to love Dinah Washington and Billie Holiday, and I loved none of them because that meant that I had to clean the bathrooms. So that's how I associated jazz for quite some time. But, you know, when the classman came in and said we should play So What, we went ahead and pulled out the chart and we played it, and I played it perfectly, I have to tell you, given that there are only 4 notes in the whole song. And, you know, then after that he started pointing to people, and everybody he pointed to stood up and they played something that wasn't on the page, which confounded me greatly. And I was like, well, what happened? I'm lost because I don't know where they're at. He said, well, they're improvising. And that taught me what improvisation was first. And then after that, I went to the record store and I found anything in the bin that had So What on it in Miles Davis. And it wasn't Kind of Blue, it was a live date. And I took that date, and I always carried my tape deck, you know, with me. And it was about a 20-minute walk from the record store to my house. And I have to tell you that in those 20 minutes from the record store to my house is where I decided that this is what I was going to do for the rest of my life. So, yeah. How about one more time? Round of applause for Miles Davis. Thank you. That was something written by Frank Lesser, as heard in the musical Guys and Dolls, and that was something entitled If I Were a Bell. How about it one more time for Renata Ward? Now, it wouldn't be a Miles Davis tribute if I didn't have some of my own songs in it. I'm only serious. You know, Miles never did like anybody actually paying tribute to him. He always wanted everybody to do their own thing. So that's what I'm going to do. And also because James asked me to bring some of my own songs. So it's his fault. This next composition is something that I recorded on, I have a series of albums within the albums that I've released. And the name of the series is The Art of Intimacy, of which there are 2 volumes. And, well, this is from the 2nd volume, and that volume featured the talents of Buster Williams on bass and Billy Hart on drums and Victor Gould on piano and Chico Pinheiro on guitar and a string section. And I even sang on one of the tracks, but you didn't come here to hear me sing. This is a song that I wrote, which we certainly hope you'll enjoy. And we're going to get a chance to hear our bassist, Rob Linton, on the front of this. This is something that I wrote entitled, For Whom I Love So Much. Next composition is something that I recorded on a CD a few years ago called Soundtrack. And this is something of a title that I always have to remind myself and also my kids. And this is something that is, we certainly hope you enjoy. It's called Be the Light. That was a song that came by special request. And, I learned a long time ago that if you wanted to please the promoter, in most cases, in my career thus far, the promoter has been a man, and that man was always married, and what the better half had to say meant a lot. And we went out to dinner yesterday, and we had a great time, and she mentioned, well, I love that song that you recorded on your CD soundtrack. And I know which one she was talking about. And I said, well, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and do that because, not only because I had to, but because it was the right thing to do. No, that was a song that, of course, was dedicated to you. And I'd like to also take this time to thank James for having me out here. He contacted me a year ago. Thank you. And made sure that I had the date saved. It was a year ago. I said, man, I ain't got nothing else in August but this. And I'm glad it happened. Now, the name of that song was something that I feel like encapsulates the way that we all think, thus the reason why you're here. And it's something that I know that we on the stage think, and it's got a real straightforward title. Despite its sometimes melancholy nature, the name of that song, written by Emil Boyd and Hale Smith, was called simply, I Love Music. There you have it. That's right. Now what we'd like to do is play something for you. This is something that I recorded and wrote and recorded on a CD that came out a few years ago called Jeremy Pelt, the Artist. And, a lot of the songs, and you could even see, if they let you, some of the music that I pass out to them, it'll say untitled. And, for a long time, when I first started composing, it was easy for me to come up with titles. And I started composing around 10 or 11 years old. And, as you can imagine, because we were all there, that at that age, you really don't have nothing to do but think of anything imaginary. And so therefore, when I'd write these little ditties, I'd come up with a song title in no time. And then, the older I got and the more circumstances found me, and life is life, and it takes a long time for me to come up with titles. And so I was invited to contribute a song on a record date led by one of the greatest drummers in the world. His name is Louis Nash. Yeah. And this was at a club that, of course, had to be eponymous, also called The Nash. That's located in Phoenix, where he's from. And we did a record date, and he said, everybody bring a song in. And so I brought a song in, and it was a nice house audience-wise. And, I explained to the audience that this is something, he wanted me to talk to the audience. I said, well, this is something that I just wrote, and, I haven't come up with the title, so, as of now, it's untitled. And there was one lady who, couldn't wait to voice her opinion, though it was not asked of her. And I'm usually loath to really accept any kind of opinions on titles, but she was rather forceful. She, too, was the wife of the promoter. And she said with all the certainty in the world that the name of this song is As of Now. And I said, that's right. It didn't matter to me because, I got all the royalties, so you can go ahead and name it what you want, but it's called As of Now. We certainly hope you dig it. like to do is play for you. This is something going back to the actual Miles Davis book, and playing something that was written by Victor Feldman, and or as he liked to say, Victor Feldman, since he was British. Anyhow, this is a song that we certainly hope you guys will recognize, first of all, and dig after you recognize it, or dig if you don't recognize it, or just sit there quietly. This is something called 7 Steps to Heaven.
All right. How about it one more time for Alvy Gavon? You know, this is a special day, and I would like for everybody to know that you've been listening to Alvy Gavon on the piano. That's right. Yes. And I'd love for you to give a big Jackson, Tennessee round of applause for our bassist. That's Rob Linton. And keep it going. You know, the drummer, you know, here's the thing. Everybody works hard in the band. And, you know, I might say that I'm the hardest working person up here. You know, the bassist might say that he's the hardest working up here. The pianist is always smart, they don't say nothing. But we all know that the workhorse of the organization, in most cases, is our drummer. How about it for Renata Ward? And as I said before, and I'll make mention again, that I've had a wonderful time here in the past almost 48 hours that I've been here. The rain has been wonderful, exceedingly so, and well, you know, it's nice to be able to finally touch the soil after 30 years of being on the international jazz scene. And I thank you very much for your hospitality and for having me. My name is Jeremy Pelt. As James mentioned, I have played with quite a few people, and you know, one of the gigs that I cherish the most, and one of the people that I played with that I cherish the most, his name is Jimmy Heath. And you know, here's the other thing. You know, we talk about Miles and Train, and of course, they're the giants of jazz, and this is their centennial. This is also Jimmy Heath's centennial. And he always made sure that I knew. He said, yeah, I was born in that wonderful year, 1926. I said, all right, you know. Sadly, he's no longer with us, but he always said to always leave the audience with the blues. And so therefore, that's what I'm doing. This is a song that is attributed to Miles. Miles probably wrote it, and he also probably didn't. As it was the case with a lot of things, but this is something that he wrote for Baggs, or maybe Baggs wrote it for himself. Baggs is Milt Jackson, and the name of the song is Baggs Groove. Thank you. What did you say? Did you get? I heard somebody say bar. Meet me at the bar. Okay, well, maybe that was just my imagination. This is a song. I love how you guys didn't even let me walk off the stage. There was no drama to it at all. I was like, did they put it up? No, they was just like, just keep your ass on out there. This is a song, you know, now it's not lost on me that we've played mainly Jeremy Pelt music and Miles Davis peppered in. and not played any John Coltrane. And, I figured that the opening act, which did a fabulous job, how about one more time for them? They covered some John Coltrane, didn't they? But you know what? We're going to go ahead and play this song. Now, this song scared me, as a lot of John Coltrane songs did. And, harmonically, this was something that seemed insurmountable, especially for a trumpet player. And so I treated it as such that trumpet players just don't play this song because, well, it's a saxophone song, and that is what it is. And then a trumpet player named Freddie Hubbard came around, and he wrote what's called a contrafact. And a contrafact is essentially a song that's based off of another song. For instance, some of you might have heard a song called How High the Moon, right? It goes something like, right? But then the contrafact, the bebop contrafact to that is this. It's called ornithology, right? And so therefore, Freddie Hubbard, who used to play a lot with John Coltrane, wrote this song, and he called it Dear John, and it's basically a contrafact of giant steps. Now, the thing about giant steps is that Train, and I know this because I used to talk to Cedar Walton quite a bit about this. He used to go to everybody's house with this sheet of music, and Tommy Flanagan thought it was an actual ballad, right? But if you've ever heard Giant Steps, they played it faster than the flight of the bumblebee, and it was a fast song. And so, some people got a chance to play over it, and other people didn't. I remember talking to Cedar, and he said he wished that he'd gotten a chance to solo on it. But nevertheless, that's just a little something that you keep in your pocket. It's called Passed Down Knowledge from Masters That Are No Longer Here. We're going to go ahead and play Dear John, and we certainly hope that you'll not only endure it, but dig it. Here we go. One.
Happy birthday, Miles and Coltrane. Thank y'all for being here. Be safe on the way home. We'll see you in October.